So I was really excited about this trip because I'm actually driving up to Évora right now, and then afterwards, and I'm completely on my own.
Oh my God!
And then I'm going up to Serra do Sol to meet some people, and then after Serra do Sol I'm going up to Bragança, so that's the whole length of Portugal, and then I'm going to come back down to Lisbon and do a video in Lisbon. So there's 4 videos over 5, maybe 5.5 days. And I'm excited because I'm like on the wide open road here. It's just great. I mean, I would like to have somebody coming with me because then I can interact more with other people. But I'm interacting with people in Serra do Sol, and I'm going to just do my best in Évora and also in Bragança. This Portugal Unlocked thing is really cool. So there's 2 historical things that are really exciting me about Évora. One is like prehistoric Portugal, and the other one is Roman Portugal. And these are combined into one of the eras that I've designed about 7 different eras of Portuguese history that I'm focusing on. Now I'm learning history. I'm not an expert. I don't know all this stuff, but I'm learning as we go, and it's really exciting too. So I started off with these different 7 eras, and Évora fits smack bang into the first era.
So you're heading off on your amazing adventure today.
I am, and I'm pretty excited, but I'm going to miss you a lot.
I'm gonna miss you too. It's gonna be a bit sad without you for a few days.
Well, no, it'd be nice if you could jump in my bag. Anyway, well, do well at school.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys in Évora. All right. I've just arrived in Aljustrel. I'm just going to go and grab a quick café and the tarta natas. Pastel de nata. Wow. I'm not quite sure why, but I just decided to climb these stairs. Obviously for the view. But it's pretty tiring. Maybe I can grab a coffee on the way back. Obviously history is like a puzzle. That's why I find it so fascinating. So they find stuff in the ground and they make up stories about it. It's as simple as that, right? Not really. All right, I've made it to the car park, but as you can hear, it's really windy. So we're gonna see if we can try and find this thing. It's quite amazing. These were only discovered in 1964, and it's the largest concentration of menhirs in the whole Iberian Peninsula. There's about 100 here, and that's quite an eerie spot. You imagine thousands of years ago, there were people roaming around here, chanting and doing crazy stuff that we didn't even know what they were doing. Well, we kind of do actually. The Cromeleque dos Almendres from 5500 to 4000 BCE. It's one of Europe's oldest stone circles, and we reckon it was used for astronomical observations and rituals. It might have been a calendar or a spiritual site. And there are other dolmens around, which were like Ante Grande Zambujeiro, just around the corner, were burial chambers for elite members of the clan. And it's interesting to try and figure out. We've got to try and imagine how these people lived. Can you imagine a small Neolithic village in Évora? People would wake up before sunrise, tend to crops and their animals. Children would learn by helping elders with pottery, tool making or weaving, and at night families would gather around a fire to cook stews and tell stories and observe the stars. Periodically they would visit this place, the Cromeleque dos Almendres, for rituals or seasonal feasts. So in conclusion, the Neolithic people of Évora weren't primitive, but skilled farmers. They were builders, they were astronomers, and their megalithic monuments are a testament to their advanced knowledge and social organization, paving the way for later civilizations. So I just parked the car and came up here for a fantastic view of Évora, because this is a perfect viewpoint. And I don't know if you can see behind me, but Évora has, the whole municipality of Évora has about 53,000 people living here and only 42,000 in the city. But still, it's a magnificent view from up the top here. So the Celtic tribes that lived around this area had evolved from prehistory, and they had managed to evade the imperial Romans until the 1st century BC. And then, when the Romans conquered the whole of Hispania, as they called it, Évora was actually named Évora Liberalitas Julia, signifying it as a self-governing city under Roman law. It was hinting that it was a fairly large settlement at the time. And Évora became a vitally important military, administrative and trade hub due to its location on the Roman road between Olisipo, which is Lisbon, and Mérida in Spain. And there's also a significant Roman route heading southeast from Évora to Seville and Cadiz. If you can see Scalabus on this map of Roman roads, that is now Santarém. So after all the research I'd done, I was really keen to see what kind of Roman ruins I could find deep within Évora. This is the easiest Roman relic to find in all of Évora, and it's been standing out like a sore thumb for over 2,000 years. And it's a crazy, weird feeling to walk past these columns knowing that they were placed there by an ancient civilization. Now, once I was over that initial feeling of shock and awe, I started to try and figure out why it was built. What function did these columns have back in Roman times? Well, it was built in the 1st century BC, making it just over 2,000 years old during the reign of Emperor Augustus, who was the grandnephew of Julius Caesar. It was built in the main square of Liberalitas Julia, which was the name of Évora in the times, and it was the forum or the center of town, which follows on from Greek town planning, where the temple was generally planted on the Acropolis, or the highest part of the town, as most ancient settlements were, so as to improve defenses against the invading hordes, whoever they may be at the time. It may well have looked like the Maison Carrée in Nîmes in France, south of France, like this, as you can see, which is a beautiful image. But sadly, our temple in Évora was destroyed by invading Germanic peoples in the 5th century. And the actual temple was likely dedicated to the imperial cult of Augustus, not the actual goddess Diana that many people refer to this temple as. But now, why would people call it the Temple of Diana? Well, she was the goddess of nature and mythology, and a chap called Father Manuel Fialho, back in the 1600s, just assumed that the temple would have been dedicated to her based on classical mythology and not based on archaeological evidence. Now, the name stuck, and whilst it is much more likely that the temple was dedicated to the imperial cult, in keeping with the custom at the time, people still call it the Temple of Diana. My next mission was to find the Roman baths under the Câmara Municipal. But I ended up touring the medieval old town of Évora and became intoxicated with its stunning buildings, secret streets and enticing little corners.
On a Wednesday night at the same old spot, spending every dollar I got. 2-3 shots won't leave one dry, and a jukebox on loud. She just wanna party all night. We be two-stepping in the back of the dive. I've been down a jack all night, tending to my keys cause they know I can't drive. Going up north with a rose one, stars ain't hard to find. Bottle of the best and you by my side, that's my peace of mind. And we've been on the go all day, she just wanna roll with me. From the bar to the stool all night, just you and I, two-stepping in a dive bar. Two-stepping in a dive bar. Two-stepping in a dive bar. Two-stepping, and I don't give a hoot unless it's you stepping. Then these boots will make.
Before it gets completely dark, let me list a couple of unique buildings and a quick few facts about them, so you can get the lay of the land here in Évora. Clearly, not everything is Roman here. Way more things have happened here over the years, and I don't even want to get started on the Inquisition. Alright, here goes 9 buildings and squares in Évora. Number 1, Évora Cathedral that we've seen. It's built between the 12th and the 13th centuries, and it's the largest medieval cathedral in Portugal, and a stunning example of Gothic architecture with Romanesque influences. Number 2, the Câmara Municipal de Évora, or the Évora City Hall, and it's housed in a historic building located in Praça de Sertório, where remnants of Roman baths were discovered beneath its foundations. Now it serves as the seat of local government, and unfortunately it was closed for restoration when I was there, so we couldn't go and see the Roman baths. Number 3 is the Santo Antão Church, which is situated at the north end of Praça do Giraldo, built in the 16th century under the orders of King Henrique I of Portugal. Its Mannerist facade and grand interior house house impressive altarpieces, including one dedicated to Saint Anthony. Now, the actual square just outside this church, the Praça do Giraldo, is the heart of Évora. It's a lively and historic square named after Giraldo Sem Pavor, the knight who reconquered the city from the Moors in 1165. But there's lots of interesting stories about him, whether he actually was a knight or whether he was just a thief. And hopefully no one's going to come at me on that one. It's lined with arcaded buildings, cafes, and the Santo Antão Church, and it's been a central meeting place for centuries and still hosts public events today. Number 5, Café Arcada. You see, I just went in here for a beer and some empadas or pies. It's one of the oldest cafes in Évora, opening in 1942, and it's known for its classic Portuguese coffee and pastries. I loved it there. Number 6, Café Alentejo, where I'm going for dinner tonight on my own. It's hosted in a 16th century inn, and Café Alentejo is a cozy and atmospheric restaurant offering traditional Alentejo cuisine in a rustic setting. I loved it. You'll see the vaulted ceilings and the warm lighting, and the food was absolutely fantastic. Number 7, Igreja de São Francisco, which is built in the 15th and 16th centuries. It's famous for its Gothic Minoline architecture and historical importance. But inside, it houses the Chapel of Bones, or Capela dos Ossos, which I wouldn't suggest you go and see, to be honest. I've seen one of these chapels of bones. They have them all over the place, and it's not nice. It's really not nice. Human skulls and bones. Ugh. Number 8, the market, the Évora Municipal Market, is just outside. And it offers a wide selection of fresh produce, cheeses, meats, and local delicacies, as normal markets do. But it's a pretty impressive building. It's an excellent place to experience the rich flavors of the Alentejo region and interact with local vendors, like we have down here in the Algarve. And the number 9 is the Palacio do Dom Manuel, or the Palace of King Manuel I. It's one of the few remaining royal residences in Évora, and originally part of a larger complex built in the 15th century. And so no royals actually lived here, but they used to come on holiday here when they were on business as well. They would stay down here in Évora. Now, food is very important in the Alentejo, as it is in the rest of Portugal. And like I mentioned previously, I had dinner in the Café Alentejo, which I wholeheartedly recommend you do too. I ordered a few plates. Green salted asparagus in oil, which is amazing. Scrambled eggs with farinheira. Now, fun fact, do you know the difference between farinheira and alheira? Whilst both being Portuguese sausages, they normally don't contain that much pork. Alheira was invented by the converted Jews during the Inquisition, where they replaced pork with bread, so it could appear that they were eating pork. Farinheira is just poor man's pork and has flour and pork fat with paprika, seasonings, and not much actual pork. It's all changed these days and may contain pork though. I had a glass of local Alentejo white wine, and for the main course I had rabo de boi, which is stuffed oxtail and red wine with rice. It was amazing. For dessert, I tried a trio of favourites that the waiter put together for me, including a salted caramel tart, and that was also again all absolutely amazing. And the waiter was a fun guy. The place was warm, cozy, and had a wonderful feel to it. I loved it. I really suggest you go there.
Two-stepping in a dive bar. Two-stepping in a dive bar.
So whether you're looking at Évora as a new home or just a place to go and chill out for a couple of days or maybe even a week, there's so much to explore. It really is interesting. There's tons of stories, historical stories, There's great food. There's excellent weather, although it gets pretty hot in the summer. And so, I don't know, what else do you need? This is a classic Portuguese town, which is absolutely glorious. Really is. I'm amazed, and I'm really upset that I haven't been here before. But I do have things to do. I'm heading north. I've got a long drive heading north up to the Serra da Estrela. It's about 4 hours to go. So off we go. See you next week in the Serra da Estrela. AlgarveAddicts.com. We'll see you next week. But if you need any help relocating to the Algarve, click through to our website, AlgarveAddicts.com. We offer tours, immigration assistance, long-term rentals, and we can buy your house.